Today, we talk about the Nintendo GameCube. As I stated before in a previous video, it was a great time to be a gamer back in the 5th generation of consoles. You had the original Xbox, you had the PlayStation 2, you had the Sega Dreamcast, and you had the Nintendo GameCube. Now, this may not look like much, but this bad boy packed a wallop. This had double the processing power of the PlayStation 2, and it had an ATI GPU. So if you were to stack this up of powerful consoles back in the day, this was second to the original Xbox. Now, even though this placed third in the 5th generation of consoles, it's still saying a lot because this GameCube has a legendary library of games. You have Luigi's Mansion, you have Super Mario Sunshine, you have Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, you had Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, you had the first iteration of Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 0. That is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's put things in perspective here. A lot of games from the GameCube are in demand today to be ported as HD remasters to the Nintendo Switch, which is Nintendo's current console. That to me is a testament to GameCube's legacy. Now, when it comes to collecting for the GameCube, it can be a little bit pricey. It's a lot cheaper to get a copy of Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2 than it is to get one on the GameCube, which will probably be triple the price of the PlayStation 2 counterpart. Thankfully, we live in a world where console modding has become the norm, and it's become so user-friendly that even a guy like me can do it. I've gotten to console modding since the original Xbox, when I was able to put a Xbox Media Center on a soft modded console, and then I can upgrade its hard drive to something like 250 gigs and above. This particular model now has what they call GC Loader, which replaces the laser with an SD card reader. The official GC Loader is kind of hard to get. It's always sold out. So I have to go through alternative methods like AliExpress. Now, doing so means that yes, I can get a GC loader, but because the hardware is limited, I can't run the games off the SD card reader. I have to use a different type of SD card reader. There's one that can go into the serial port, which is at the bottom of the GameCube, or I have to use something like this, which is called SD Gecko, which allows me to put a micro SD card into a slot and then put it into the memory card slot 2 of the GameCube. And this is where all the games will load. Now, as far as memory goes, because you still have to use GameCube's proprietary memory cards, through the same website, AliExpress, I was able to get this 1 gigabyte memory card for the GameCube, which means I'm not gonna run out of space anytime soon. Now, when I originally got this GameCube, I got it from a flea market. I was just walking around one day and I saw a table full of junk, which is usually what you find at a flea market, but sometimes you do find a diamond in the rough. Take, for instance, this GameCube. Now, granted, this GameCube doesn't have the digital port for the RGB or the bottom serial port, but it did have the original Wavebird attached, and inside had a copy of Smash Brothers Melee, and the guy only wanted $11 for it. Now, that same day, as I was walking around that same flea market, I stumbled onto another booth that was full of junk. But under all that junk, I found this disc, which is the Game Boy Player disc. Now, if you were to go on eBay and find the Game Boy Player that goes on the bottom of the GameCube, you can find it fairly priced. about $40 to $50 for one in good condition. But the disc, on the other hand, is going to run you well over $100. And I was able to find this disc for like $5. Since I have GC Loader installed, I can no longer use the disc to play my Game Boy Advance player. Thankfully, I was able to track down an ISO and load it through my GameCube Gecko. So now I can use the Game Boy Advance player, which opens the door to more possibilities. This right here is the Easy Flash, which is a flash cart for the Game Boy Advance. The GBA player recognizes this cartridge. So now I can play all my GameCube Advance games, my Game Boy Color games, my original Game Boy games, and it even has an emulator to run all the NES games. So that, combined with this GameCube with all the games installed on it, makes this thing a very, very fun addition to my console collection. So to all my GameCube fans out there, please raise your GameCubes high and shout out, long live the Nintendo GameCube. Until next time, stay true, stay you.